Before we start, I'd like to remind everyone that we will be recording this session for documentation purposes. We will not be uploading this publicly as well. So, good morning. Welcome to our 14th fire session under the Firestarter Incubation Program. As you all already know, we'll be tackling two topics today: financial projection and customer acquisition. Of course, we've invited mentor speakers who are well adept in these matters to talk to you about them. Before we head on to the program proper, please be reminded that our morning session will run from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with each speaker being allotted time to talk about his or her topic and address your questions later on. The Q&A portion will be facilitated by one of the CDO Bytes team members, namely Ruchel, immediately after each speaker has concluded their respective talks. Please make sure your mic is turned off unless you're requested to talk to avoid disruptions, and turn on your cameras during the virtual group photos. We also encourage you to be interactive, especially when the speaker asks for your input. Please be mindful also to use English or Tagalog during our Q&A with our second speaker. With Miss Kat, taga Cagayan de Oro siya, so walay problema mag-Bisaya. Okay. With that covered, let's head on to introduce our first speaker. So the first part of our fire session is all about financial projection. For this talk, we have invited an expert to help you understand this matter and even check your respective financial projections. A couple of you have already sent in your financial projections, and she will be tackling those as well. With that said, our first speaker is none other, Ms. B.i.t.e.s of the Oro Chamber of Commerce and Industry Foundation Incorporated. She is the Program Director of Oro Chamber's Oro Best Innovation Program. So now I'll be giving the virtual floor to our first speaker for today's virtual fire session, Ms. B.i.t.e.s.
Hi, Miss Shore. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, ma'am.
I'm at home, so medyo let me know if there's a background of somebody cooking. Anyway, thank you so much for the invitation. And all right, is somebody sharing my slide now? Okay, there. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll start my presentation. I have, next slide, please. I have with me here, very short lang na presentation. So can I speak in Bisaya for our ano also, no? From time to time, I will do that. So, okay, kaayo. Sige, thank you. So I have here just three. What is financial projection? What are they used for? And why do you do it? And what are the key elements? Next slide, please. So, you know, we have different descriptions or definitions from our resources, no? So it says here, it's an estimate of the future financial performance of a business. You can also say that it's a forecast for future revenues and expenses. And then it is also a financial template that shows forecasts and predictions on financial estimates and numbers that range from revenues and expenses pertaining to financial statement, and takes external market factors and internal data into account. So you can either have them by short term, can be broken down into months, and you can also have long term, 3 to 5 years, or even 3 to 5 years, or even for capital intensive, you can do that for 10 years, right? Or even more than beyond that one. Next slide, please. And what are they used for? No, this is to create business plan for creating and to attract investors. So when you say you want to create a business plan, so one of the first things for a potential investor or banks that you would want to see is to financial projection, or even our angel investors, no, for financial projection of your businesses, even if it isn't operational yet. And also to attract investors, definitely. So if you want to attract investors, when you look into investment or business, investors typically look for financial viability, a financial projection that outlines variables such as expenses, revenue, and growth patterns. Also, when you apply for a loan or credit line, no? Basi pwede ni siya sa atong mga relatives. So banks or financial institutions that are interested in the financial health of the business, business performance, but also where the business is next year or the year after. And also to be able to map out potential growth, to create budgets, allowing the business to grow and thrive. Now, actually, if you look at for startups, no, very specifically for the startups, you really need the financial projection. So this is really to prepare you for the next 2 to 3 years and how you will, where will you bring, no? Where do you want to go and how you will bring the company, etc. and so on. Next slide, please. And why do you do it? No? Why do we really have financial projections? So basically, the financial plan translates to your company's goals into specific targets. Clearly, it defines what a successful outcome entails. And also, the plan isn't just merely a prediction, but it also implies a commitment to making the targeted results happen and establishes milestones for gauging progress. So the plan also provides you for a vital feedback and control tool. No, variances from projections provide early warning of problems, and when variances occur, the plan can provide a framework for determining the financial impact and the effects of various corrective actions. And also, it can anticipate problems. You know, sometimes in business, we are just too excited to get into it. We forget about the financial cost to it, and sometimes in the middle of your in your business, no. So kumbaga pag-abot anas tunga you lack your financials. So that's the failure of some of the business. So if there's a rapid growth. If rapid growth creates a cash shortage due to the investments in receivables or inventory, and this is for, I don't know, the forecast should show this. And if next year's projection depend on certain milestone for this year, the assumption should also spell it out. Can we now go to the next slide, which is the key elements? So for the key elements, so it says here, you have to have these three, the income statement, the cash flow, the balance sheet. And I think you already have been informed about this, right? So let me just give you quickly. Okay, let me just give you quickly the key elements. No, so ang income statement, no, shows your revenues, expenses, and profit for a particular period. Cash flow will show you cash revenues and disbursements. And balance sheet, of course, will present a picture of your business net worth at a particular time. So the summary of all these three financial data in three categories: assets, liabilities, and equity, that is for your balance sheet. And Shore sent me a couple of financial projections that you made, but in the next slide, I am actually showing to you some of what I think should be included. No? So for example, this is an example of financial statement. No? Naadiha makita ninyo ang sales, and then it states actually the operating income, no? For your research development, for your sales and marketing, for general administrative, including depreciation if you have equipment, and if you have financing costs, no? And of course, you have to pay taxes. So that is at the end of the revenue. Then you have the gross margin, and you deduct the operating expenses, you have the net income. Next slide, please. You also have the balance sheet. Of course, ang balance sheet will be for your asset and then your liability as well as your equity. No? So I've seen that some of you have already made that one. And the next slide is to the business more important, which is the cash flow. This is how we look at our businesses. Importantly, for the cash flow kasi, it is a statement of a financial, it is a statement, no? Financial statement that summarizes the amount of the cash and the cash equivalent entering and leaving your company, no? So the cash flow statement measures how well your company manages your cash position, meaning how well the company generates cash and pay its debt obligations and funds for its operating expenses. So why is it very important, no? Mo ni siya ang inflow and outflow. So mo ning mosulod sa ato ang company, mausab ni ang mugawas. Sometimes in your income, for the first year medyo negative siya, second year medyo a little higher, no? Just a few, but cash flow is really how you were able to bring in cash, no? Maybe from better sales, etc., or maybe from your venture capitalists, angel investors, and so on and so forth. So these are to us very important. And when you have negative cash flow, so makita na ninyo, it indicates the company's liquid assets are actually decreasing. So the cash flow forecasting is an attempt to estimate future growth and outcomes based on the past events and management insights. So this also aids you in budgeting, planning for the company in advance, and should be part of any company's financial structure. So again, for businesses and actually for financing, if you go to, this is very, very important on cash flow. And to me also, when I look at projects, if I look at it's really the cash flow that is also being taken, that we have to look into more intensively than the others. Although they are also equally important, but to us kasi, this is management of your cash. Now, for the next slide, we can now proceed to the ratios. So again, it's also important, useful ratios, financial ratios for comparison purposes, together with the revenue, net income, cash balance, the cumulative free cash flow year by year in graph for form of easy reference. So you have there profitability ratio. This is used to evaluate a company's ability to generate income as compared to its expenses and other costs associated with the generation of income during a particular period. So this ratio represents the final result of the company. So that is what is your income and what is your revenue. So yan, formula there. And the next one is efficiency. It is a measure of your company's ability to use your asset and manage your liability effectively in the current period or in the short term. So these ratios are measured how efficiently your company uses its assets to generate revenues and ability to manage your assets. So you have here your revenue over your assets. No? And then you also have your leverage ratio. Usually this is used for banks, no, for financial, so mga financing. So any of several financial measures that are look into how capital comes in form of debt, loans, or assesses the ability of the companies to meet financial obligations. So also return on equity, liquidity actually, and then break even. So katong break even naman is also very important, no? Because for the break even ratio, normally it is informing us how much of how much do you sell, no, for you to stay afloat, to break even lang, no? You don't have even okay, how much or how many number of say items or products you have to sell for you to stay afloat, to be able to for you to pay off your people or your operating expenses. So you also have I also placed here for the next slide. I also put here the importance of the graphs. This is very important when you present. No, it always tells a story, and for us who would like to look into your investors who would like to look into your financial, so it is a visual method of illustrating, no, relationships in data. But the purpose of this is to really give us a visual of are you or of your company. So to us also it's very important when you have these graphs, and this is for presentations actually. That's why the projections that you have, the data that you have, you can actually use this to be able to have that you know to be able to show it, no. But if the graphs and ratios, the graphs are actually important if you have several datas, no. So kung if you only have small amounts, na, you can actually convey it in a sentence na lang. But the lesson is this graph or charts would help convey information to make sense of the data. And the businesses have wide variety of graphs, charts to choose from, and you can, it depends on how or who to whom you present, so it really varies. So the next slide please. This is actually okay, I'm ending actually my presentation with short, and I'm now ready for any questions from the floor.
Hi, Ruchil, are you around?
Hello, Mishore?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Ruchil should be taking.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Ay,
Hi.
buntag. Oh, wala ka. Okay, good po. Nagurat ko kay nangapip ako, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
You know,
Okay.
I want this conversation to be relaxing. No, if you want us,
Okay.
kasi what I ask sure is that sabi ko, if there are, I was not able to attach na the ano of the financial projections of our startups, no, but I read there are 5 or 6 of them. So if they have questions, kasi it's better to ask questions and I can,
Yes.
diba, para one-on-one, or you know. Where are they having difficulty, which part, because I believe they have already encountered these financial projections, and I'd like to more specifically tell them siguro kung what is good for your investors, no, to present it, and also to give them what are they lacking, o baka napabitaw sila kulang, wala nila ma-include in their financial projection, something like that.
Yes, ma'am. I do agree. Okay, so before we proceed with our Q&A, just a reminder, before you ask a question, kindly state your name and the startup you're representing, okay? Okay, so the floor is finally open for questions. Who would like to go first? Pa sila, ma'am. Okay.
Ay, sige lang, ayaw mong kaulaw ha. Ayaw mong kaulaw. Kaya ang maulaw, wala gay padungnan. You know, honestly,
Okay.
oo, sige.
So I think I have here a message sent directly.
Oh,
Okay, I'll just read it for you, ma'am.
sige, sige.
It says, when looking at a financial projection, what do investors look at first?
Of course, depende, no? Because your product, before you can make any projection, you have to have a good product. So do you have a good product, making sure that you know about your product, diba? Or your services that you will be offering. That, to me, if I am the investor, I'd look at the product. how good is the product? Is it scalable? Is it relevant? You know, baka I can find something similar to it. So what is your value proposition? No? And the financial projection is just to support it, no? Isuporta lang yun na siya na kung mo-invest ko, that mo kita ko. However, may uban angel investor na they really don't on the financial projection, but they see that along the way, they're very good at that. They're along the way that it's gonna grow. So some investor would really sink their money into something if they see a very good product. And when you have a very good product coupled with a very good marketing, packaging, and so on and so forth. So all these things should be brought inside your projection, inside your financials. No? So to me kasi, I'm sorry, nakamute ko.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry,
You were muted for a while.
I was about to grind my coffee. Sorry. Anyway, ingana siya, no? You have to really have a very good product muna. Ang investor kasi, specifically, kung gwapo gid ang imong product or services, mugamble na siya. But of course, they will have to see your projections. Definitely. So you have to study on it. Kana. That's my on investing. Katong for a franchise iba eh. You're a startup, right? For a franchise kasi, what is important? Iba yung franchise na location. Ganon, di ba? So, that is very important to them. Foot traffic, that's very important to them. Pero kayo startup, you only, basically more of the app, more of the, I saw there the kit, no? I was about to question the kit, yung, ano yan, yung, is it a sanitizer? Was it a sanitizer?
Yes, ma'am. The piso hand sanitizer.
Sa akin, if I look into that, that is essential right now. But if ako mag-invest, so are you gonna sell it as a kit and post it there? What if I go to public places that is normally free, no? So if I use it, if I sell it, is it sellable ba? Or ang mga tao ba is not used to it because everything is free? Something like that, no? Pero naman you see naman vending machines, di ba? You see vending machines, well, you go to the CR, you have vending machines and so on and so forth. So it's kind of depend on the products and the services that you offer. So I hope that that answered my question. Kay normally kasi when you say what are the investors looking for, of course we would like to earn, but basically normally it's really the product and the good product that is important.
Yes, ma'am. I think it did more than enough. Okay. Any other questions from our incubatees?
I have a question, Chel.
Go on, proceed.
Hi, ma'am. This is
Hi.
Richard from Dirtbag, on-demand, online on-demand laundry.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that one na. Dirtbag.
Thank you. Ma'am, I just have some requirements with regard to kaning sa financial projection because it would really help a lot. What are the important or major financial ratios that we need to prepare? Yung kanang common bitaw kayo i-ask from the investors, like I believe break even is very important. Cost to profit ratio is important. So what else are the major na we have to prepare?
Actually, Richard, Dirtbag, di ba, describe to me first, kasi I read it last night, but describe to me your business. So is it an app?
It's actually an on-demand laundry, ma'am. So it involves the use of an application, but at the same time, we have a service na segment, which is the pickup and delivery for laundry.
And you don't have a structure for it, right? You will just have to make, nakalay, isa ka suki nga baga to do the laundry, because the laundry is not in your proposal, right? It's just an app with the
Yes, ma'am. More like
Alright,
Airbnb of hotel. Of laundry.
Okay.
No. So we have like 5 partners already in a laundry shop
Okay.
where
Well,
we distribute the loads.
okay. So your purpose for this is to sell it to your laundry, or do you have it's for the common, for everybody to make use of the app?
Basically, for the app, ma'am. For the
Oo.
app, it's for now it's only available for the users, for the customers. App for the drivers and for the laundry shop partners, still under development pa.
Yeah, because again, you need to. But for me kasi, kung ako, you're asking for the investor, no? What the investor would look into. Of course, how fast can you scale it up? How fast can you bring in customers to use your app, diba? So the more customers to use your app, the more they will be able to avail of the services of your laundry, right? And how fast can you be able to answer? How fast can you be able to answer to the need, no? For example, mudaghan siya, kalit lang siya pag-launch nimo, nihimo na 1,000 ang imong customer, assuming, or let's say 500 na lang, or even 100. Will you be able, or 500, will you be able for, in a day, will you be able to scale up your services at that particular time?
For scalability, ma'am, we are totally prepared for that because we have as you mentioned earlier, the projections, no, na
Okay.
every time the volume goes up, we already have the formula on how many drivers we need to add, like that. Tagpilo po, pag alam mo mag-add of tagpilo. So when it comes to resources, we already have the projection for that. So now one of the challenges will be, since it's costly at first, no, it's very costly to reach break even. So we really need to have the additional resources, more funds. So what are the kuan lang, ma'am? Like, for example, as an investor, what would you want to know when it comes to financial, let's say, in terms of ratio? So, unsa ang kuan?
My return on investment. Kano sa mabawi?
Yes,
my
ma'am.
return on
The ROI,
investment.
I got that question very, very often, no? Na what's the ROI? For me, ma'am, God, as a startup, I'm not sure if it's even the right question to begin with, no? Because it's a different landscape.
I know.
But when it comes to, when you say ROI, what's the correct answer to that? Is it in years? Is it in peso value or what?
No, it's actually number of years. So, for example, kung ako investor ko sa imuhang dirt bag, mo ingon ko, mag-invest ko sa imuhang 100,000, kano saan na ako mabalik. Yeah. It's not about kano saan na ako mabalik. Return on investment. When? Number of months ba na? Or do you want to tell me, ma'am, you know what, in 1 year's time, you'll be able to return your investment. Meaning to say, I'll get my 100,000 plus I get a percentage of that. So that's how it is. So number of months or years, I will be able to get back my investment. So igaana lang siya. So normally, kung ako, I have a spare, normally igaana man na ang mga investors, no? Mga angel investors or venture capitalists. 3 years actually. Pero along the way, meron niya siyang negotiations. At along the way, you'll be able to give them a share of a certain percentage interest or shares of stock, so whatever it is. And in 3 years' time, they will be able to get back their, for startup kasi, because sa mo tagbag-o pa. So
yes,
3 years to be able to.
Di give me na challenge, ma'am, because if I present something to an investor, traditional investors' common question would be ROI. So it's difficult because it's more like investing in the stock market, right? I cannot say because it's a high risk, high reward. So most of the time, my answer would be, because a startup would depend on valuation, diba? So it depends on the stage of the startup. Na kung unsay mong value a year or 2 from now, depending on the expansion program, that would also affect the valuation. So in return, kung ikaw nag-invest early, let's say 100,000 at 100 per share, how I explain it is that in 2 years time, if we grow our value, if we increase our value to, let's say, 300 per share, so it means you increase at 200% ang imuhang kuan. Pero it's difficult to explain to traditional investors kay ang ilahagid ana is what is the percent or how many years sila ikuan.
So we, as innovators, Richard, you also have to look into that, no? So kung mo inon sila, sige, mo invest ka og assuming 100,000, 1 million na lang, dirt bag dako man na siya. So mag-invest ka 1 million, in 2 years time you'll be able to get it because mo ni siya ang projections nako. So but you also have to give a share of percentages. Every year you have a certain percentage of the company, you'll get this much interest, etc. and so on. Kuan magud siya kanang sa bangko, still the same. If you ask from the bank, it's still the same. They will ask you, when will you be able to pay your loan? Normally 5 years na siya, no? Pag mag-borrow ka sa bangko. So for persons like venture capitalists or whoever it is, no, pinakalayo na siya ang 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, kana gid siya for a startup. So siguro dili na nila masabtan because we're not really a community of venture capitalists or ano. It's traditional like bangko pata, co-ops pata, normally like that, no. So that's the reason why we tied up with USTP, our partners in the academe, no, para sa chamber, no. There are a group of businesses that we will be telling them what it is and why do we invest on startups. Kay normally traditional kaayo. I understand you, Richard. No? It's really difficult to ask for investors kasi parang you're just selling something pa na they haven't seen it. No, it's not like the franchise business. No, it's there. The franchise can sell you guarantee that you'll be earning if you have a very good location. You have a very good traffic, etc. So ang franchising, when you sell it, naa na siya. Naka-project na dito. For startups, a startup is still parang in the air. You're still starting. You're new in the business. So it's kind of difficult, but I'm sure if you have a very good presentation, I'd like to look into it. I'd like to assist you and look at you and maybe pitch it to us kasi we will also have pitching sessions later on.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tess.
Yes.
Richard, does that answer your question?
Yeah, Chair, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Richard.
Okay.
Hope to see you. I haven't seen your face. I hope to see you.
Later, ma'am. Kaya I have a background here now.
Okay lang.
Yes. I like our Ma'am Tess Q&A. Parang na-achieve naman yung gusto mo na free-flowing. Parang connected yung first and second question. So, about investors.
Yeah. Sige.
Okay, thank you, Dirtbag. Thank you kay Imo, yung gi-maximize ang time. I hope other incubatees will do the same. Yeah. I think we have here another interesting startup. It's b.i.t.e.s. They have here their financial officer, I think.
b.i.t.e.s, yeah. Sige.
b.i.t.e.s, Akit, can you elaborate or explain what b.i.t.e.s? And then, can you refer your financial projection problems?
Good morning.
Hi.
Actually, yung boss ko is what's it called? He's predisposed because he just came from awake. So sorry. So ako muna.
Sige, ma'am.
Sige, take it away.
So b.i.t.e.s is a grocery app delivery service. Think Food Panda, but for groceries. We have our own app and a dedicated delivery team. So we team up with a local grocery, and then we receive their orders through the app. Once the orders are accomplished, we inform our customer and the driver personnel to deliver it, and then we just remit the payment to the grocery.
Okay.
That's it in a nutshell.
Okay. So, do you have any problem? Have you started it? Wala pa.
It's actually started actually.
So
Um,
if I look it online, I can see it.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, we have something similar to that with the chamber. One of the members of the chamber. They call it Ate Girl. Ate Girl. So si Ate Girl, actually, basically, not just groceries, but anything you want. So, so siguro ganon din ang ano no, it's just the same concept. What you like, you order, and then they will tell you, they will deliver to you. But what is important there is, to me, kung ako magtanaw sa investor, how fast can that be delivered, no? Kumbaga, um, again, it's networking. So, um, do you have any problems with bringing in, kumbaga, signing in as your clients? Or
I don't understand, ma'am.
kanang
What do you mean
parang,
by
for example,
signing?
di ba app man siya, no? Using your app. So if they use your app, is that it?
Um,
Is it an
uh,
app ba?
yes, ma'am.
Oo.
It's an app and delivery service.
Okay.
The difference between I think at the girl and
Mm-mm.
then ours is, at the girl is she's kind of like a shopper model. So you tell
Mm-hmm.
her and then she goes to whatever
Mm-hmm.
store.
Mm-hmm.
This one is we don't have a shopper. The store itself is the one who prepares it, so we cut out the middle person.
Okay. All right. So, kumbaga, it gets directly and that will be delivered by the store.
It's
Kayo na.
directly prepared by the grocery. We
Hmm?
deliver it for the store.
All right. Okay. So do you have already clients for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Tagana.
Actually, quite a few. Um, ask ko lang is
Oo.
actually this one sa financial projection kasi I'm actually plotting based
Mhm.
on date average data we have,
Okay.
actual expenses, actual
Mm.
income, actual things like that. And then what circuit usually asks me is, Chin, what is the what's a good amount of interest we should be
Ah.
offering the investor? And I'm like, I'm not sure. What is a good amount? What is a good interest percentage for what they offer? Like if they offer like a million, do you give them 1%, 3% of the business? What is usually a
Is that
fair value?
so you're saying it's a percentage of kumbaga in your business, right? Kumbaga
Mm,
share in your business, no? It's
yes,
not like
ma'am.
the banks that is the interest. Depende. Normally, we have your share depende kasi sa how you what is really the exact ano ng business mo. What is your value of your business? How much is your business worth pa? And then is 1 million 50% of the business or depende na siya. So what is comfortable with you? Kasi kung ako tanungin mo ako if mag-invest siya ng 1 million, they get 20% of my share. Example example. And if your value of your at this particular koan, maybe that's very attractive kung 20%. Pero pwede siya, ingnanin mo, for 2 to 3 years lang siya. Again, there's really, if you're sure with your business that it's gonna fly, make sure it's kanang number of years lang siya. And you give them a big chunk share of the share of the business, something like that. Or if you're comfortable with longer, then better longer. Because we have here Rice Foundation before. It used to bring in, kumbaga, that foundation was investing. And that's what we would like to revive, no? During this pandemic, nibalik siya ba? So we would nibalik lugar ang concept on venture capitalist, no? So the chamber is talking about it. So mag-invest ka na siya nga group, and basically for 3 years, and there's a 20% share of that, whatever income that they will get from 20% share, and then na din siya sharing of the income, etc. And pulling out after 3 years. Because that's what it is all about, pulling out of the investment. So yon, 3 years in 3 years time. So 20% share, then pulling out in 3 years. So something like that. But if you're not comfortable, depende kasi sa comfortability. You know what? For startups, sorry to say, but maybe you have so much ownership and you are afraid for people to invest big time or give big share. So for you to be able to have that advantage, give it, anyway, make sure lang your contracts and your agreements will not be long time kasi mo kita day ka, etc. But to me kasi 1%, 2%, that's too small, no, for an investor. So give it a big chunk of or not that big chunk really, but 20% of the share. So depende sa amount. So it's really up to you, no. Kung afraid mo because you really hold on to your product or your services because it might have a very good value 5 years from now. But what are you doing from 1 to 4? Diba? Are you gonna wait for no investor, or are you gonna let this investor invest in, and then just make sure that 5 years is the contract that you agree with that investor, and then later on renegotiate ninyo, something like that.
Okay, ma'am.
Mm-mm.
Sorry. So if it's all right to assume the one you said kanina, 50% of value of the business right now,
Mm-mm.
you can offer 20% share, which is the prettiest sa investors. Is that
Yeah,
is that? Okay.
yeah. I think if I ask you what is the value of your company or your ano nga right now, how much do you value it now?
I'm not sure. I'm
No,
not.
because you are actually looking at the value of it. Kasi I saw one pitch I saw one pitch I was sitting down last year, 2019. And they were just valuing this example lang they were just valuing their company in 5 years time. And they value it at projection niya, etc. Value niya 10 million. Siyempre si investor, 10 million? Eh, and then you are not even so sure of the tapos anong share. So if you value your company 10 years from now, that is difficult to understand from traditional. Difficult kay na siya. However, if you say, okay, so I will be needing 1 million of capital right now to be able to reach that one. So I'll give, if you invest 1 million, I give you 20% of the share, something like that, etc. Blah blah blah. But yun nga, that's something that is hard to decide. But kung ako si startup, I will be as open, no, to any investor. So, and give quite anong tawag nito, a very good deal, so that you'll have more investors if you believe in the product that you have, in the services that you have, and it can fly in the next 3 to 5 years, and give it a very good renegotiate na lang dayon in the years to come. You have in that clause that you renegotiate.
Ma'am, what if it's realistically right now it's dismal? So, yan ang concern ko kasi
Diba?
based on
Oo.
actual, it's dismal. So, actually, we're thinking of pivoting and changing the method because
Okay.
really express delivery 1:1 is a really heavy model because of course
Yeah.
so much expenses. So we're thinking of going scheduled, but we can't actually project that right now because we haven't put it into practice. And
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of on thin ice because we
Mm-hmm.
do need another, flood of cash to try that out and to market that, etc. And then there's an investor who's willing, but we can't exactly show him financial projections because we need the investment to even try out if it's working.
Have a look. Yeah, 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 yeah. I understand. I understand. So siguro, that's why I'm so passionate about assisting the startups kasi I know how these investors think, and I know from the start kasi dili pa mo guaranteed, 'di ba? You're not yet guaranteed. You will have that projection. And we'd like to say we'll pitch it differently. Pitch it differently kasi it's just ano talaga ang capacity kasi and the network, no? So relate your so kasi that's why and you have not been in business for quite some for a number of ano, 'di ba? For sa Oro Chamber kay makapa-member ka sa chamber dapat 3 years ka na. So it's very difficult to pitch this one, but let's see, for app kasi, there's so many kasi of that one and it's the acceptability of an app and the convenience of it that you have to and the network to and the way you sell it you have to show to your investors that this really is something that it's the new normal, it's the new thing na, no? But not all kasi have access to app or have access to traditional pa na telephone, 'di ba? Traditional pa na sa number, sige manawag ka, tawag ka lang ingani nga number and you will be able to pick it up, no? So I don't know. I'm sorry. Later na. Ina lang, yeah. I'm sorry. Sige, I have an international call. But it's okay. Sige. So ganun siguro you know what, Miss Shore? Sometimes I feel that face-to-face is it's the most necessary way to assist, no? All this startup kasi pag online murag difficult mo kay online oy. I hope I have answered your question. So, I really have to see the figures. I really have to sit down. Kasi that's the best way to mentor and that's the best way to assist you. Willing naman ako to siguro for this batch. For something like that. I'd like to
Thank
see your
you.
figures. I'd like to see your figures. I'd like to see how it works, no? And I'll give you feedback on what's really in the mindset of our investors right now and they're looking for, in a more face-to-face siguro. I'd like to do that one.
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope you have
Yay.
answered your question, huh? Or
Ma'am,
I'll be
last
able to assist
portion.
you.
Is
Last
there a
portion.
standard format
For what? For
for financial projections? Because
Oo
if you,
naman, naaman. It really depends on, there's a template, pero on your type of business, it also depends, no? So again, um, again, it depends on the type of businesses that you have. There is a template, of course, but as we can actually sit down on that one para makita nako unsa pay. Sometimes ang cost bitaw nato we will not be able to include it is kung kita ang founder, kita ang co-founder, sometimes our cost for in the business are not accounted for, 'di ba? So dapat i-account natin even if we're founder or co-founder, we don't account of our time. We have to account that maybe by man hours, how much time do you spend in that one on a daily basis ba, on a weekly basis. That should be also incorporated in your template. Mga
okay.
pliti-pliti, ginagmay, etc. Sometimes you forget that, okay lang, nasa packet. But everything should be accounted for, no? Cell phones, yeah, plan ko man sa ako personal. But no, so you also have to input that in the percentage that is being used in your startup business. So something like that. These are sometimes forgotten, but details of it, I can actually sit down with you.
Asking soon. Thank you.
Soon!
I'll just ask muna actually. I-relay ko muna to sa
Sige,
boss ko.
sige, sige, sige.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Ann.
Salamat, ma'am.
Masyadong
This is Kit pala, and I'm with Crystal right now. Co-founder ng i.t.e.s. Pasensya
ayun
na
siya,
late night ko.
Okay lang, okay lang.
Si Chin was able to communicate naman a lot of our concerns because Chin and I talk almost every day about this. So thank you din kay Chin. We hope to communicate with you very
sure.
soon, ma'am.
Yeah, you course it through Shore. That's our partnership with the chamber, yes. We will try to, we would like to bring in, it's one of the numbers, Orobes Innovation, my program, which I am handling right now. Our number four objective is really to bring in startups. And the startup should be able to pitch and be able to partner with our existing members and B2B siya, no? So hopefully we can do that soon, be sure. I've talked to Sir Engineer Bronson and all the partnership we have with GST. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Ihatid.
Hatid
Thank you,
mo
Ma'am Tess. Grabe ka, real talk.
Hatid siya dapat, gang. Kasi this is serious. It's not just about, I always believe, and even with our Orobes Innovation, it's really real talk yun. So, in fact, the successes of our program translates to DOST funding startup. There is one program which we actually adopted in the program, Curation of Technologies. Present lang na ako kay DO. This is what I need. I just said, this is what I need. You know what? They're funding them. It's the first startup for the year. So I just hope that when an industry or a part of the sector of the business sector will say, this is what I need. I need your kind of business. So pwede siya business to business, no? Pwede siya business B2C, business to customer. So I'm looking at a more engaging partnership, no? I hope.
Yes, wow. Okay. Thank you, Ma'am. Okay.
Yes.
You've mentioned about financial projections, also about the figures. I think some of our incubatees sent you their financial projections. Can we talk about them? What do you think about them, Ma'am?
Actually,
general lang.
I just got one. Ano ba yung nakita ko? Sure, para the first one she sent me was just graph. That was ano. But you know what? I'd like to talk on the different setup para one-on-one, mga 30 minutes for each one. So, ayan, for free. Ayan. Para sa bayan.
Okay,
ayan,
take
diba?
note, guys, ha?
Para sa akin lang, for this particular batch. And ba, 6 ba yun? How many? 6 ba yun sila? So para you can see, I'll give you inputs para holistic siya ang dating. Kasi kung financial, parang too limited. I want our startups to look into the bigger macro. Kasi kung detail siya, baka it does not translate to marketing, it doesn't translate to your sources, to your people, to and so on and so forth. So I want them to look at it as a whole, a big picture. So maybe a one-on-one session. Pero mas gusto ko face-to-face. Okay lang. Dili ko kaing anak ba? Dili ko kani. Chamber naman is open. Chamber naman, we have an innovation lounge wherein I can invite you there. So just give us i-course through lang sa CDO b.i.t.e.s. Our partnership wala pa, but I'm hoping to have that one soon. So discuss it with your
Yes, ma'am. Soon. Okay. Before we proceed with that planned 30-minute session, I think it's important that you meet our incubatees. Parang initial lang, no? Okay, you've met Dirtbag and Ihatid. I think Ken, are you there from Shift Tech Marine? I think he has some questions.
Ship.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Shift Tech Marine.
Did you pitch the last time, 2019?
No, ma'am.
Hindi ba? Ano yung
I think,
okay.
ma'am, basta niyo pasabot kay kanang sa Nexus.
I
Dogman
forgot
sila
what.
ato.
2020?
No. That was
As
like
Manila,
2000.
2020
Sure, I
Manila.
remember 2019 pa to. What? Sige. Sorry. Just tell me about your your company, your
so,
product.
Shiftech Marine is providing a clean, reliable battery pack and
Oh.
for people under the blue economy po.
Oh.
Yes, and our among financial projection murag wala ko kasend sa kagabi and nami lease to own model
Mhm.
and nami
Unsa na nga again can you describe to me the product that you
yes ma'am ang our product is a smart battery pack. Smart battery pack. Designed for sea use siya.
Sea?
Sea use. For sea voyage.
Okay. Okay. And
Yes,
then?
and we have a pricing point of 5,499 kung direct na siya paliton. But patong sa mong lease to own model, we have an average of 10.5% interest from different plans. Nami 4 monthly plans.
Kanang 54499, unsa di siya nga battery will be used by whom? Kasi magamit
by fisher folks.
Dili ni siya mao kato bitaw sa loud bitaw nga something. Yung radar something.
Dili ma'am sa lahi.
Lahi pud to nya ang battery gikan sa imuha. Kana ba to?
Wala pagkutuan ni ma'am. Wala pa
okay. Okay. Kasi that product nagka-interest ang isa ka investor. Oo. And
vessel monitoring system, ma'am.
Oo. But they wanted to know if it can be used sa open sea. So yours right now is battery. Back kanang kuan for vessel as well. Gamiton siya sa vessel.
For now, ma'am, lightings pa lang siya.
Ang
amoy kuan.
Okay. And I'm quite
and among concern sa
sige.
Ay among nabuan nga projection is likely sales projection pa man siya, ma'am, and kami expected nga profit within a year na 1.5 million based
on
if we are able to
sell
1,000 units.
Musim bako daghan pa maatos dagan.
Yes, ma'am. Na mi partnered nga community fisherman organization dito sa Mulugan. Yeah.
Mulugan in El Salvador?
El Salvador, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why didn't you contact
Kamulo namin sa
why did you contact the fisher folks here in Cagayan de Oro? Marami yan sila dito.
Mas nasuod na naman dito ang ilang community, ma'am, kay dito miga naka-thesis mi dito, naka-test mi sa ilaha.
Okay. So are
dito
I'd like to know more of the product kasi the product is very important for something like you're selling at 5,499, right? So these are for fisher folks la or for any kuan?
Naan may fisher folks, sea wardens, fish cage operators, basta mga people under blue economy lang.
Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. Sige. Maybe on detail siguro I'd like to look into how it functions, how it works para ang again product man gud siya ang imuha tangible.
Yes.
And the relevance of that one is important of that one is usefulness ana niya kay baka na solar ba siya ang may tabo ani or unsa ba siya?
Yes, ma'am, solar.
Solar, no? So solar siya. So ang lifespan ana niya, how long can they if they travel sa loud, how long can they with the 5,499, how long before kuan na po na siya? How long
recharge?
Recharge or something.
So for among latest development abot pa siya og one night nga paggamit kung gamit siya full ay gi-charge siya full.
So one night lang. Kung na stranded joke. Diba? I mean, these are questions you expect from an investor
Yes.
and from the user. So you have to answer this one. Sometimes I'm very frank ha, pero this will help you make pwede ba siya, kulang ba siya? Kasi if I'm gonna pay 5,499 and I got stuck up in I won't be able to diba? So look at that.
Okay,
May time ka na spare ba? Making sure that our fisher folks will be safer, no? With your 5,499, you'll be able to make sure that they will be in the for so long a time na stranded siya somewhere, dili siya kabalik dayon. So something like that. But I'd
sige,
like to look into that one more in depth. Pwede na to na siya ma-pitch actually.
Okay, ma'am. So now among question is how payroll works in
Payroll.
as part of the financial projection.
Sa payroll, kasi you're selling products, right? So basically, cost, how much per, cost mo for your product. It depends on the payroll. Payroll ba siya kasi for your product, for your production of your vessel, pack. That's a totally different, di ba? Direct cost yan siya for production. Pero yung payroll mo, on a monthly basis for your administrative, like ikaw as a founder, syempre expect na nimo nga naapog kay sweldo for the time that you spent. Maybe you also have somebody who's gonna take care of bookkeeper nimo kana, those are costs that are then if you have somebody who is selling it, is he in the payroll or is it commission basis? So something like model that you like, and how you conduct your business. Will you be able to have an office, or kung sa balay lang ka? No, usually just in my house, but you need to put value to that balay. Small, and then you need to put good value to whatever utilities you will be using, or for the person that will be manning that one, even for man hours lang siya a day. Appeal gid siya gihapon for your projection. All right.
Okay.
I hope I was able to answer you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have here checkmate. Ted, are you there?
Appeal ba na si checkmate dito sa nag-pitch?
Yeah, we were also included on the our chamber.
Okay. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're fine, ma'am.
Okay, good. Sige.
So, just an overview, ma'am. Checkmate is a mobile app, multiple choice assessment checker, wherein the two na mag-use si teacher, dili na siya mag-need of pen to check test papers. So we have a template na gamiton sa teacher to distribute to the students para dito na sila mag-answer. So they will no longer to check a bulk of test paper. So that's just the overview of our app. So ang among question, ma'am, is about sa pricing, because when we pitch on that hour of chamber last, ma'am, is nagkuan man mi, ma'am, amo ang bali anang go to market ato nga plan is for subscription.
Yes.
Most likely mo man to subscription na. Then in a long run is gakakita na mo ang pain sa teacher is moingon sila nga dong kanang mahal raman kaayo ang 250, then mostly dili daw nila magamit ang tanan biro wala kanang kadali ra nila magamit bitaw, ma'am, ang app kay dili kay sila mag sige exam inana. Then more likely is maingon sila nga mahal ra kayo unya duha ra man akong section, so pwede ba unsay mahitabo. So we nag-change mi og kanang business model, ma'am. So we conduct a per record na lang nga market. So per record is 55 pesos siya per 6 months. So pwede siya dito tanan na potential per record ang iyahang makuan. So dato lang mi nagkuan karon if is it really a good choice like giving them a compensation about it. Kay as of now lagi nag-pandemic so murag nagkalisod pud mi. Lisod jud siya kay wala na ba face to face na ito.
Correct, correct. But your still is an app, right?
Yes.
You check it. I remember I was there when actually ikaw ang nalingkuran ako. I think I was able to sit down with Kalimuan, di ba? Your mentor?
I think
Si
yes ma'am,
mentor?
pero si kuan to siya ma'am ang nag-pitch ato is kauban niya po nako
I
founder.
Founder, co-founder. Yeah. But how do you do that thing? Do you like do you is pasok lang siya?
Kuan siya ma'am, through our mobile app is di ba naman tayo phone camera. So
camera
ang cellphone is tayo phone camera. So si student is man naman siya answer. Mag-circle man siya mura siya kanang the usual bitaw nga kanang bullet lang mo. So i-hover din to si teacher, mag-hover sa siyang phone. Click siya dito start checking. So i-hover din to niya ang camera sa phone. So after din adto makita na din to niya kung pila ang score sa student din. Iya din tong pangitaon kung kakinsa to siya nga student. So nana siya ang
that is necessary now sa no touch. Then you know, ma'am.
Yeah.
So I am sure if you pitch it again in a more appropriate siguro venue for that one, maybe not with the teacher but with siguro gyud sa Department of Education ka mag-pitch, 'di ba? Para i-ano ang teacher. So again, pitching to the appropriate user or katong na ay value makuha nila. So sige, as to your projection, kasi as what you're asking me, your projections, I cannot at the moment, no, balikan ko nato na siya because I really have to look into it also because I'm sure you also have some expenses. Pero I see a good potential sa imong kwan. It's just that the packaging lang siguro kung kang kinsa nato i-package, the right, maybe is it for the, have you, ang imo bang clients karon are private or
we're on public right now.
Right. So you have not tried it with the private
actually ma'am, we are also planning on private. So nami ginabuhat nga system nga like logo na lang i-edit bitaw ma'am. So ina na lang ang mahitabo sa ilaha. So for institutional like private schools na din siya nga products.
Yeah. Kasi mas siya, mas daghan enrollees.
Pero kuan na ma'am. Kato ito yung maingon kay ina ma'am nga we also tried kanang talking to kanang mga education like katong DepEd lagi. So namin naka-istorya which is taga Manila siya ma'am. Medyo dako-dako yapon to siya sa DepEd. So the problem is ang iyang gusto man ma'am is gusto siya mo take credit sa app. Like inana ang nahitabo ma'am ba. So gusto siya nga mangalan bitaw sa iyaha. Then ma-change din ang pangalan. So inana iyahang kuanon din kami adto nga time is murag eskwela pa man so murag ana mi nga paspas ra kaayo rag lahi ra iyahang purpose bitaw ma'am. So
again
mentor man namo si Sir Bronson adto nagkuan pud ni sa iyaha. So ana siya nga
not yet.
Take pan lang not yet lang sa kay murag lahi ra gyud to iyahang purpose adto to take credit sa app.
Yes, too soon. Then again, you have to assess again where do you want to bring your startup, your product. You want it fast and make money out of it. You want to take ownership and it's gonna take a long time. Depende. What do you value most? You know, so it depends on your vision sa company. Vision ninyo that you'll be able to help more teachers right away. You know, so it really depends on the vision of your company, the vision ninyo. Kung for that person to take credit, there are people like that But you have to balance. You have to balance it. Kung mag-credit siya, na ba siya certain percentage of sa company, kana ba? Guaranteed ba siya? Guaranteed ba siya that will be adopted by DepEd? Depends. Kung guaranteed ba siya. Baka nakasulod na siya sa company, you have an agreement, pagkatapos wala man day siya gi-adopt sa agency. And that's one thing that you also have to be very careful, no? When engaging with some investors, no? So, napod. Christian, right? So, sige, I'd like to take a look at that one also and how we can maybe basically market or the networks that we have right now. We'll see what we can do. What can be done is maybe you can go to local school board with the local government. They have, but you can pitch it sa local. We start with the local because that can also be maybe give encouragement ba for the local government to also make sure friendly naman si LGU. We'll just have to make some lang kung how di ba? Okay na, ma'am? Okay na, Christian? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Rich?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, participant today. Unfortunately, two of our incubatees has prior engagement and has to work on a Saturday. Sige, ma'am, let's talk about in general na lang. So, in behalf of incubatees, charot. Sige, ma'am, ganahan ko ato yung gingon, ma'am, about pitching and packaging your product. So, you've talked about yung mga income statement, mga cash flow, business sheet. So, definitely, they are going to be a big help sa atong startups. But, in terms of ma'am, pitching, should startups show all this in a pitch or asa lang adto? If not, asa adto ang pwede i-show during pitching?
Pag pitch man good, ma'am, it's really the product. It's really the product that highlights everything. And the value of that product, yung gwapo kay siya, and how it can help the community. To me, that's very important. The financial projections can be done in graphs. Kasi pitch, sandali lang ang pitch, di ba? Diyos ko Lord, talagang pas numero, kagagmay pag yun, di mag-ana dahil ng mga investor. So, the graph can just be, that's why I said to you, the graph is the visual kuan siya na it has a story already like this and like that. But your pitch, ang projections kasi dito na towards the end, the graphs. But basically, pag pitch, it's really the value of your product, the importance of it. You have to have the very good presentation on your pitch on that one, and how it can help translate it to the number of people that will be able to help along the way. Ang convenience, kung produkto ka nga convenience ka, the cost of it, dapat na kay cost comparison kung magamit ko ani nga app compared ako mo adto ko sa lamhanan sa I go there mamasahe etc magkasakit pa ko di ba so yeah, all those benefits weigh the compared to the other existing and traditional products that are services in the market.
Yes, ma'am. I like that reminder, no? Bitaw na adyo mga gagmay, jud kaayo na kung maka-discourage na noon. Instead, it could help, parang, baliktad ang iyahang So, I'd like you to talk more about that, ma'am. So, aside from, instead of graph, ginagmay na mga numbers and figures, what are the, say, common mistakes of startups or businesses in terms of presenting their financial projection? And then, how can our startups avoid those to ensure na appealing and then feasible ilang financial projection?
Sometimes when we compute for our financials, it's over taba. It's not conservative because parang we feel that we have to show that muginan siya gigag 1 million after 1 year. I doubt it. So you have to be very open. You have to have conservative. Depende kasi sa yan eh. You have to be very conservative in terms of your projection, and then making sure that cover nimo ang tanan elements, no. And ayan, to me kasi if for a year seldom lang ka na naay business that will earn in a year. Seldom na siya. And for you to inform everybody that in 1 year time, you get like 50%. What is that? I mean, you have to be very frank about the projections because, again, if you have a very good product, the first year normally is it's introductory, etc. But basically yeah, to me, it's really conservative estimates. No, we don't expect positive tanan ang projections immediately because that's when you start asking questions. No, but naamagod na siya growing pains and yeah, I think you overproject. Kana lang siguro you overproject. Kaya ba sa imong system to have 1,000 clients, no? Will you be able to do that? So, do you also have that network, no? Or baka wala ka naman siya network. So, you have to make sure that you have networks and make sure that I was able to talk to fishermen in this area, committed also to talk to the Anna. You have to show to the investors that you have your projections are right because you were able to talk these organizations and they have this number of community. So kana sa Fisher Fox, for example, no? And how sure will you be, can afford ba sila? So usually these are questions that you might be putting in so much cost for your product or app that dili naka-afford ang mga clients na yung mga gusto. So then there's a mismatch of your clientele and the cost, etc. So that's sometimes diha pud siya makita ang questions or mapangutana sa atong mga investors.
I see. So parang instead of being aggressive na maging super nakaka-over-promising, the startups should keep it real and safe.
Yeah. Basically, it's okay to really project it, pero considering look at the existing, if you have local, di ba naamang tayo makita nga kumbaga in the market na makikita man ta nga we have something like this, and you check also pwede man ka maka-check siguro on their projections how the story of this company, etc. and so on. So kana basically you refer it and then you ask around, etc. and
I see. So ma'am, from the perspective of an investor, unsa ba what are the red flags or the first things that investors notice na maka-discourage sa ila?
Which one ang
about financial projections?
Actually, when we see projections kasi ang makita maginato all positive ba? But again, kung si investor kasi magtan-aw gina siya ang imong produkto iparis gina nimo sa capacity, no? Ang capacity ani nga or the product that it can really fly. It's okay to give projections but mas scale up ba siya? What is it sa market? Kana again, balik ta. Is it marketable? Marketable ba gid ni siya nga produkto or service? Baka you have good projection but di pala siya dili pa da siya gidawat sa market kay for some reason, no? Culturally it's not accepted or age wise kung naa ka sa age dili day siya in ana nga age, no? They probably are more traditional than etc. So again, ang sa startups na notice na ako, there's one we have slow kay siya, di ba? Very slow. It's not very but slow siya because maybe their either ga-market sila sa different na kumbaga pitching nila is the wrong set of dili siya not wrong but not appropriate, no? And maybe the projections are too high na murag it's too good to be true, no? But again, it's always check it again and again, validating your data, making sure that is it the right, kung naa kay kapareha, maybe you can inquire kung dili man, you just ask for data na sakto gid siya na close to the real numbers. There's no wrong way naman of presenting. It's just that ang red flag lang ka kung taas kay kag projection, and then your product, suppose sa first year, second year, taas kayo niya, you have not even have a market testing. You cannot even answer that. Have you market tested it? Not yet. So your first year is kind of, then you can say na, oh, you have 200% in your first year. Now you have not even market tested. So something like that. Red flag ka na. So you have not really studied your product yet, etc. Normally, naana siya, technology should be na ITRL nato, no, readiness sa produkto. So if you're not ready for that, it's kind of difficult. Red flag ka na, ana.
Sige. Thank you kayo, ma'am, no? So such important points to consider, especially that our incubatees are on the are on the verge of course looking for investors and pitching. Okay, a follow-up question for that. Let's see. So validation, ma'am, is crucial.
Validation of the data, right? Of course. It's always crucial to validate your numbers, no? Even for the chamber alone, when you validate presentations, diba, we always refer to PSA, kinahanglan ana. In the same manner, sa inyo hapod nga sa negosyo pod nato, no? We always validate, making sure that for your manpower, dapat magbayad kag 350 a day. Mao gina siya. Validate your numbers, making sure sakto ba, or maybe you're employing too many or you're employing less people. Sometimes siguro mag-project ka dito pero ang imong manpower the same lang. You have so much clients already pero pag tan-aw nimo dito, ay duha pa lang gihapon sila. How can they manage it? Things like those. So check your numbers at all costs, no? Something you have to think of. Kay lisod kaayo when you do not have the balance of or you don't have the validation of your financials.
Yes, ma'am. It will definitely backfire to you. Okay, that's it for me. Do we have any follow-up questions from our participants? Going once? Twice? Thrice? Okay, ma'am. So I think that's all the questions we have. Do you have, before we proceed with our second session, do you have any last reminders, tips, or parting words to our incubatees?
Well, I would say welcome to the entrepreneurial world. And I hope that, it's not easy. It's not easy. Those are processes that you have to go through. I just hope that you will be resilient and you will be, as incubatees, pasalamat galing mo sa panahon ko nagnegosyo. Wag ko incubate ba? During our time, we don't have those incubatees. You are very lucky to have USTP, CDO b.i.t.e.s to incubate you. During our times, when we started our businesses, we didn't have that one. So this is one of the things that you should be thankful for. So daghan salamat kaayo.
Thank you, pod, ma'am. I will now give the virtual floor to Miss Shore.
Thank you, kayo, Chel. Thank you, kayo, ma'am. That was such a great talk. Bisan ako naminaw. Actually, dagan po questions actually ato. So, may nalang nga tubag po during sa mga questions sa mga startups. So, I'm glad that the startups were able to maximize this virtual venue as well, no? I know na kasabot ko sa imong sentimento, gusto niyo face-to-face, pero well, pandemic pa, napay bago ng mga strains, ng vaccine, kayo maglisod pa kayo. Sige lang, antos lang sa top for this. And then thank you kay, you'll be giving out mentoring sessions with them, no, one-on-one. We'll just siguro schedule that probably before the demo day para at least ma-apply nila sa ilang pitch, no. We'll do that hopefully within next week, no. Ato lang ikuan i-settle ang schedule sa inyo. So with that said, Ma'am, thank you so much. Before we leave,
by the way, Miss Shore, can I say something? With me is Nomar. So with me is Nomar. We're gonna have a pitching session actually in March, if I'm not mistaken, or is it April? But still, we have that one, and we'll get in touch with you for that pitching session as well.
Okay, ma'am, walay problema. The more opportunities for the startups, the better. So now, can we ask everyone to turn on their cameras for the virtual group photo?
Oh, okay. There you go. I
Alright.
see faces now. I like it. Diba?
All right. On
Okay.
3. 1, 2, 3. Smile, everyone. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma'am
Thank you.
Ken.
All right. Salamat kaayo for the invitation. And
Yes, ma'am.
we wish you well. We wish you well.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. So, guys, for our second part of
Leave now?
our... Yes, ma'am. Well,
Is it okay for us to leave? Okay, bye-bye.
okay. Okay ra, ma'am. Okay ra. Yes.
Sige, thank you.
So for our second part of the program, guys, our speaker is not yet in, so maybe we'll just wait for maximum of 30 minutes. Kung wala pa yapon, I think I'm sorry to disappoint you, bas hindi madayon atong talk on customer acquisition. Okay? So it's actually a collaboration with Kubo, and I'm actually trying to contact them right now to get in touch with the speaker, pero wala pa itubag. So we'll wait until 11. Okay, I'm terribly sorry for this inconvenience. We're not expecting this. So please just take this moment to take a break, drink coffee, and to go with your usual Saturday routine. Okay. Yes, you can have a photo of copy of the photos, Sir Noemar. No problem. We'll send it to you via email. Okay, thanks everyone. Do not leave, okay? We'll be online until 11. We'll wait for the speaker. Atong follow up pa. So we'll just take a short break. Thanks.